Welcome to Seattle Maritime Matters. Hi, I'm Ken Saunderson with the Seattle Propeller Club, and today we're joined by Eleanor Kirtley, who is the Senior Program Manager for Green Marine. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Ken. It's an honor to be here.
Hey, Eleanor, why don't we start off by having you share a little bit about what Green Marine's all about?
Sure. Green Marine is a voluntary environmental certification program for the maritime industry. So our participants earn their certification by exceeding regulatory requirements. They are achieving criteria as defined within our program. They have those results verified and shared publicly. And then we all commit to continual self-improvement. We are an inclusive and collaborative program. We certify port authorities, terminal operators, ship owners, shipyards, and the St. Lawrence Seaway.
What is the goals of the program?
Green Marine's mission is in advancing environmental excellence. So we work to define and incentivize best management practices. We'll focus on concrete actions and verifiable measures. And then we aim to communicate the commitment and sustainability of the maritime community. So opportunities like this to talk about why Maritime Matters is a perfect fit for our program. So thanks again for the opportunity.
You bet. You mentioned a little bit earlier the types of business that are involved. Sounds like you're really involved with working with the entire spectrum, both in terms of the industry as well as government agencies like port districts.
Yes, absolutely. We have quite the breadth and diversity across our membership. So in addition to the participants who get certified, we have 3 other member categories: the partners, supporters, and associations. So all told, we have exceeded 400 member organizations across the US and Canada, where that includes the government agencies, environmental groups, consultants, engineers, vendors, suppliers, class, pilots, you name it.
Well, that's very exciting that you've got that kind of membership. Talk a little bit about the certification process and how you guys measure ongoing improvements to the efforts that you're trying to achieve.
Yep, absolutely. So we have an annual certification process. So every year for our participants, they're really going through a 2-step process. In January, we'll have a kickoff and an info session on how to conduct their self-evaluation. That's the first step. Those results are going to be due every year by mid-March. And then to complete the first certification, the second step is a verification, where our participants will have one of our accredited third-party verifiers come on to check that, yes, they did all the criteria that they said they're doing. And then Green Marine is compiling all those results, coming up with an annual performance report that we will then release at our annual conference, culminating the annual cycle called Green Tech, which we host in a port city alternating between the US and Canada each year in June. And in 2023, we get to host in Seattle.
Oh, that's very exciting. Look forward to having you here. That's really exciting too, that you've got such a diversity of measurables that are required by the certification process to really say, yeah, we are making improvements and making a difference in cleaning up our environment.
Yep, every year making sure that we are going above and beyond regulation and reflecting sort of the latest and greatest practices and technologies that our participants have taken on.
You know, one of the cool things about Green Marine is the collaborative approach that you take between community organizations, environmental groups, the government agencies, maritime industry, and you're chairing a West Coast Advisory Council. Talk about that collaborative process and how you involve the community in measuring the success and taking a look at new opportunities for Green Marine in the future.
Yes, absolutely. So I will say, while we are by and for the industry, a big way that we earn our credibility as a certification program is by bringing those environmental groups and other stakeholders to the table to help get a formal opportunity for them to direct the certification requirements. I would say that government agencies play a crucial role to help inform that regulatory baseline that we have to go above and beyond. So on our regional advisory committees, we have representation from the 4 member categories and a verifier, that their primary responsibility is to help identify and prioritize which of our indicators are due for update or maintenance in the upcoming 3 years, as well as identify which are emerging environmental issues that should be added to the scope. So for example, it was the West Coast Advisory Committee back in 2013 that proposed adding in underwater noise as an impact to address. So then we had to consult with the other regional advisory committees. We also have our founding committees in the Great Lakes and in the St. Lawrence, which is conducted entirely in French. And then in 2020, we convened a North Atlantic advisory committee, looking at the critical mass of membership in that region, giving them a formal opportunity to help direct program requirements, and then reaching consensus across our members and subject matter experts on what are the metrics and how can we strive for continual improvement above and beyond.
And you've had great success not only around the globe, but also here in Puget Sound. Talk a little bit about that success that you've had.
Well, thank you for that. I think over the last 14 years since our founding in 2007, we've grown by over 10% per year. My role was the first staff outside of the headquarters in Quebec City when I opened our West Coast office in Seattle in 2014. So we've seen more growth on the West Coast. My West Coast Advisory Committee preceded me in its founding in 2013. The big news of 2020, at least a little bit of silver lining to the year that was, is the licensing of Green Marine Europe. So we have spun out our program more globally for ship owners, and shortly we'll announce that CMA CGM has joined.
That's very exciting. I love your passion. Talk a little bit about the future of Green Marine and where you see the program going.
Well, there's no shortage of good work to do. My role as a program manager is a lot of meeting facilitation and generating that consensus and really being concerned about the maintenance of the program, making sure that it is broadly applicable across the diversity of participants and also having that meaningful impact to advance environmental goals. And I think that where we are now in 2021, there's only going to be greater attention and urgency towards issues like climate change and sustainability. And Green Marine is well positioned with our lessons learned over the last decade and a half of a voluntary program and being able to show demonstrated results towards environmental performance, being able to provide for our members kind of a framework or a progression towards achieving higher levels of performance and giving recognition and communications around why it's important that not enough people too often don't know the value of the maritime industry. So we're looking to provide those tools and services and tell the story of Green Marine.
Green Marine is such a great story. Thanks for joining us today, Eleanor.
Thanks so much, Ken. My pleasure.